Hello and welcome to the Speaking Frankly Football Show. I'm Frank Hughes, the chairman of Skelmersdale United Football Club, and alongside me is my co-host and passionate press officer AJ Vigette. Not that being involved with the football club is a prerequisite for hosting a football podcast, but it certainly helps. We are ready to dive headfirst into the vibrant world of non-league football in the Northwest, and we might even take a moment to discuss some of the bigger headlines in the sport. We'll explore life in the Northwest counties, bring you interviews with well-known faces in the league, and analyse how local teams are performing while making bold predictions for their upcoming matches. Nothing is off the limits here. We'll be diving into all kinds of topics, including complicated refereeing decisions and regulations that often leave fans perplexed. We want to hear from you too. This is your show, so don't hesitate to reach out with topics you want us to tackle. Let's get this conversation started and enjoy every single moment. We are speaking frankly. Hello and welcome to the fourth bonus episode of the Speaking Frankly Football Show, and a warm welcome to the dulcet tones of AJ.
Hello Frank, thank you very much. Hello everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to yet another episode of the Speaking Frankly Football Show. Even though the season has technically finished, we are still here, we are still going, still bringing you the controversial and the colossal from the non-league footballing world. On today's show, we are going to be checking in with Bacup Borough, Jersey Bulls, Dorking Wanderers, and then we will be having a wonderful interview with Colin Windrow, the manager of the newly promoted Msb Woolton, and then in part 3 of the show we are going to focus on all things Skelmersdale United as we find out last week which league we are going to be in for the forthcoming 2025-26 season. All of that is to come, but first...
First of all, we wish everyone involved in Monday's tragedy on Water Street in Liverpool city centre our best wishes. Over 70 people were injured, thankfully with no loss of life. However, I would imagine the psychological scars will take much longer to heal. It's not up to us to speculate, and we do not wish to do so. What we can say is that once again, this joyous occasion has sadly come to an abrupt and harmful end. But the resilience of the people of Liverpool will always shine through. Our prayers and thoughts are with those affected right now.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Moving on to, you mentioned at the top of the show there, no financial reward for the Liverpool...
No, Lancashire.
We'll start again, yeah. So no financial reward for the Lancashire FA Final, which took place... a couple of weeks ago. So, in the Lancashire Challenge Trophy, Bacup Borough were the winners. They beat, I think it was Padiham, in the Lancashire Challenge Trophy. Or was it Southport? I can't remember. Did they? I don't even know they won the final. They played Southport, yes. So they were very gallant runners-up in that trophy final. I think they lost by just a singular goal. But that was one bitter pill to swallow. But the follow-up to that is that last week they received the news that they would not be receiving any financial reward for reaching the final of the Lancashire Challenge Trophy. An incredibly bitter pill to swallow, as the Rosendale Valley Club have, over the past 3 seasons, reached 4 finals and won 2 of them. The main disappointment for Bacup Borough is that in those previous finals they have been rewarded for their success with a percentage of the gate receipts taken, but unfortunately the Lancashire Football Association has decided not to award any financial benefit for the clubs taking part. Now, in recent years, Borough have played in 3 North West Counties League finals and on all 3 occasions have received a share of the gate and in turn given the club much needed funds.
So when club owner and manager Brent Peters received the message from the Lancashire Football Association stating that the club would not be receiving any financial reward for reaching the final, it came as a shock and a disappointment. In his own words, the manager said, "I was absolutely flabbergasted, to say the least. In fact, I couldn't actually believe what I was being told. I could not believe that we had reached the final of the Lancashire Football Association senior competition and wouldn't be receiving a single penny for our success. In previous finals, we have always been given a percentage of the gate receipts, which you would feel is the right thing to do, having provided a percentage of the support through the turnstile, but not according to the Lancashire Football Association. They feel that it's fine and within their right to take all of the money. In my eyes, that is morally wrong," and I think he's absolutely correct. When asked what he intends to do in response, he responded, "There's very little that I can do but make my feelings known to the powers that be. I'll be writing to the chief executive to ask the question why he believes the clubs that reach the final don't deserve a share of the attendance, bearing in mind that it is 2 clubs taking part that provide the crowd. There were well over 500 supporters inside the county ground that night, most of which were paying £10 entry fee. You do the sums. I will also be making the chief executive aware that all clubs are operating at this kind of level of the football pyramid need every single penny in order to survive. Throughout a season, there are not that many opportunities for clubs to gain financial rewards. But you would expect that those that work in the corridors of power at the county's football association would already understand this. As I said before, this is morally wrong and it needs addressing." Frank, what do you think?
Yeah, I was a little bit shocked because we played in the Lancashire Cup final ourselves a decade or so ago, a couple of decades ago, I don't know, 15 years maybe. And we certainly received a share of the gate revenue then. I don't know what the size of the gate was. I don't know whether it was substantial. I would imagine it was decent because Southport bring a crowd of their own as well. Bacup would have been very well supported. It just seems that, and listen, we'll come to another subject of the powers that be, or the governance of football, ruining it for everybody else. Clubs at this level rely an awful lot upon attendances and money coming through the turnstiles. Okay. So to get to a final of a prestigious competition and get no reward for it seems to be harsh, doesn't it? And going from the words what Brent has said himself, I do agree it's morally wrong. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it is absolutely morally wrong because what it means is that Bacup Borough and Southport are out of pocket from having got all the way to a final. You tell me in any other sport or in any other cup final where a team goes and plays in that final and then comes on the receiving end of it out of pocket. It's absolutely unheard of and it really is morally wrong. You've got to ask the question of where the money is actually going. Is it being pumped back into grassroots football? Because you could certainly make the case for both Bacup and Southport that their own local areas of grassroots football could certainly be welcoming a fresh funding injection at their level. You've got to remember as well that for Bacup in particular, they are a bit of an isolated force up there on the Rosendale Valley. I know that you have Padiham and Colne not too far away, but they're in a league of their own. They've got their own support force, which will have supported them up and down the northwest and seen this journey that they've come to all the way to the final. Now that doesn't take into account the disappointment of losing the final. Indeed, for fans, it's probably a really good day out. But then to see that their club aren't going to financially benefit from this at a time when, as Brent says, clubs absolutely need it now more than ever, that's really disheartening.
And it does beg the question, because like you said, 2 out of 3 times they have received a share of the gate revenue.
Yeah.
Were they told before the final? It appears not, so that's wrong in itself. How do they explain the way out of this? And if anything, I would assume now due to the adverse publicity, they might backtrack and deviate out the way they've appeared to have normally done in the past.
You would certainly hope so, yeah. I mean, over 500 supporters paying a £10 fee, so that's $5,000. Now, if you take out the hiring fee from the county ground, which is the home of Stockport?
It's just the Lancashire headquarters.
Oh, is it just the Lancashire headquarters?
There now. It used to be Leyland Motors once upon a time.
Oh, is it the county ground in Leyland? Right, okay.
I think so, yeah.
Right, now, well, with that in mind, obviously it's not going to cost an awful lot, in hiring out that ground because it belongs to the LFA anyway. So that's $5,000. So where is that money going? It also sets a bit more of a dangerous precedent for future Lancashire Senior Cup competitions as well, because why on earth would teams send out their strongest squads for in order to reach a final that they're not even going to receive a financial benefit from at the end of it?
So I don't think we've heard the last of this, do you?
No, I don't. No.
But totally with Brent.
Yes.
It's a travesty. It's morally wrong, and something needs to be done about it
Most
immediately.
Certainly.
So if anybody from the Lancashire County FA are listening to the Speaking Frankly Football Show, and I know a few of you do, then please put right the wrongs that you've made. Moving on to Marc White. Marc White is the Dorking Wanderers manager. He believes that football's governance is ruining the game, and the powers that be think it's their game. He was referring to refereeing, but it resonated with me because I believe the same could be said about governance throughout. As mentioned in the last show, when deciding who would get reprieves at the end of the season, the FA's decision makers can use their powers of discretion to determine who they save and who they don't. Determining that a team that finished 4th or 5th in the lower league can replace a team at the bottom of a higher league isn't fair in my opinion. No disrespect to Fulwood Amateurs or any other club that received a promotion. We would have gleefully accepted a promotion if the boot had been on the other foot. But I think this calls for a rule change. The top 3 replace the bottom 3. If they can't achieve that, then the reprieves must be extended. But we're talking about governance. We've just talked about Lancashire County FA and their decision not to reward the teams with a share of the gate. It's well, what do you think?
Well, I do agree with what Marc White is saying. His opinion that football's governance is ruining the game, and that the powers that be think it's their game. What I will say is that I don't think it necessarily is directed at the refereeing. I know he was referring to that, but I think there's a much more stronger case that higher ups believe that they're in control, and it does make it really difficult for teams at the bottom. Not least us. What we've found out from the FA discussion is that the Northwest Counties Football League Division 1 North will continue to have 18 teams on it, and we have been directly replaced in that league by Fulwood Amateurs. But in the Division 1 South, they have gone to 19 teams in order to accommodate some lateral movers, a relegation and a promotion.
And we have heard on the grapevine that there might be further changes before the season starts.
Yeah, this hasn't been clarified, or ratified by the FA or the local league, and there is still time for that to be, amended before the ratification process. But no, I can understand why it isn't fair on other parts. I'm not sure how much of an argument we have, considering, we did finish bottom of the league for one, but I think if it had been a little bit tighter on the teams directly above us, then we may have had more of a reason to stay in the league. I think it's
but there's this argument over the bottom 3, the top 3 of the step 7 replacing the bottom 3 of the Northwest Counties Division 1 North. That actually didn't happen because Fulwood finished in 4th place and still managed to replace us.
This is true. Yeah, I think that obviously may go a little bit too far, and you would certainly feel that you'd offer the first promotion spot to the team that finished top, but forward, finishing in the top 5, but then having a ground that is, by gradients, rules and guidelines, is capable of hosting a North West Counties, game. So it is. There is a little bit of unfairness to forward, not necessarily to forward, but to the team that finished top of the Liverpool counties, and then the team that finished top of the West Lancashire League.
I know the idea is to keep things competitive in the feeder leagues. So that's the reasoning behind having anybody from the top 5, if they pass the ground grading, that they can move up. But it does seem, in terms of looking at the financial aspects of a football club and how getting relegated to a lower league can affect them. Long term, I think there needs to be a conversation about rule changes and whether they change that in the future.
It's I think it's a discussion worth having. I think they've got to be really clear on just how they're going to manage expectations of teams that may be relegated or may be promoted. I think it will also become quite apparent as to how well their ruling works based on the outcome of Fulwood Amateurs next season.
Yeah, I think it was more down to the discretionary powers that they had, the angle that I was coming from. But listen, Marc White, as we know, is quite a character. He does a sort of a documentary on YouTube, doesn't he, about Dorking Wanderers. Yeah. I've watched sort of snippets of it. Do you think he's a victim of his own downfall in terms of that he's a bit of an influencer and he's very, very vocal, and sometimes if there's a 50-50 decision to be made and you've ruffled feathers, then they're going to go against him?
Possibly. I think it's really difficult to say what a referee is going to decide or not decide. When they caught up in the heat of the moment, I certainly feel like the more vocal managers or the more vocal teams, may not necessarily benefit from decisions opposite a quieter, more respectful team. I think that's kind of the way it's going right now, particularly with the influence of social media. I think that all kind of catches up and comes round, could come back round to bite him eventually. What I will say is that you've got to be really careful how you use social media when you're a representative of a football club at any division.
And listen, for context, wish Fulwood Amateurs all the very best.
We do, yeah.
Moving forward, there's absolutely no doubt about that. We're taking our medicine. We're getting on with it.
We are.
You know, it's just a discussion that I think somewhere further down the line there needs to be a better balance, and I don't believe there is one.
No, it is the rule book at the minute, isn't it? We had this discussion with Gary Moore at Lower Breck a couple of weeks ago.
We're aware of the rules. There's no doubt about that. I just think where it all falls down is bottom 3. Top 3, I can understand that scenario, but if you can't, if you get into the top 5, you don't finish as champions, and you finish in the second to 5th positions, and you haven't got the facilities to go up, then it's you've just competed a season where you're not gonna move up the ladder. As simple as that. But if you finish 4th or 5th and replace a team that's been involved in the semi-professional game for 50 plus years, I think there's sort of a head wobble situation with the FA and the powers that be. But listen, I'll let you move on to the next subject on our show.
Yeah, and we're going to go to Jersey Bulls. So we're back round to these guys again. So Jersey Bulls were only formed in 2018 and they won the Combined Counties League Premier Division South title, but they were deducted 3 points the night before lifting the trophy, having fielded an ineligible player in a 4-0 win over Tooting and Mitchin in late March. Their appeal to reinstate the 3 points failed, and they dropped third place, with Redhill replacing at the top. The Bulls had heard that Redhill had also fielded an ineligible player and reported them to the league. Despite appealing the decision, both teams failed and were forced into the playoffs, and Whiteleaf won the title by default, having finished third in the regular season. But the appeal process took so long that the playoff final was only played on Wednesday night, 40 days after the season's final game. Redhill lost in the playoff semi-final, and the original winners, Jersey Bulls, triumphed over Cobham Rangers to gain the promotion, which they believed should have been theirs in the first place. So it's a bit of a roundabout, crazy story that has, all the markings of a bit of a comedy of errors style. I think it's quite good for Whiteleaf, really, having won automatic promotion on top of reaching the FA Vars final earlier on in the month. Although they were beaten 2-1 by Whitstable Town, they did have their day out at Wembley. Having only, just...
Well, it's been a fabulous season for them.
It has been a really good season for Whiteleaf. As for Jersey Bulls, as we say, they were formed in 2018, but they also have had a really good season, particularly for Elliot Powell, their manager, who was won promotion in his first season in charge. What this means is that Jersey Bulls will now play in the Isthmian League Division 1 South East next season, facing sides mainly based in Kent, Sussex and South London. So that's an awful lot of travel logistics for them, in much the same manner that FC Isle of Man face in the North West Counties Premier Division. So it'll be really interesting to maybe get somebody from the Jersey Bulls on the show to discuss how exactly they're going to manage and manoeuvre the season ahead. It also means that now with their promotion, they are the highest ranked Channel Island side after Guernsey FC were relegated this season.
Yeah, well, I think we've obviously repeated some of these conversations over the last few weeks, and I think Jersey Bulls, if memory serves me correct, had did they have a working budget of £250,000 a year, and they were quite confident that they could take the the transition to the Isthmian League and make it work.
So with 250 grand, you would certainly hope so.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tax haven, isn't it? Jersey as well, so it might be financed by, I don't know, but listen, they seem to be in a much better position than the Isle of Man, for instance. But listen, it's been, if nothing else, it's been a soap opera. It's kept the season alive a little bit longer.
Certainly has.
I'm pleased really for Jersey Bulls that they've managed to achieve promotion, albeit through the playoffs now, because I think when they were looking at the reasons behind the fielding of an ineligible player, there was extenuating circumstances. Can't remember what they are off the top of my head now.
Me neither, but it clearly wasn't enough for the league committee, which again, sort of begs the question, whether they are, getting more power controlling than perhaps is good for them.
Would you think there's any love lost between them and Redhill now, because they reported Redhill?
Well, I think it swings and roundabouts. Yeah, absolutely.
If your future was on the line,
yeah, of course you would. Yeah. You'd absolutely take that gamble. And I am very interested to know how exactly Jersey Bulls found out about this. Who was the mole in the Redhill camp that reported the ineligible player?
Well, you weren't here the season before last, but we had a similar situation where we fielded an ineligible player against Bearscough, and we beat them. I think it was on Boxing Day, if memory serves me correct, and somebody that was who will be nameless. I know who he was, but reported back to Bearscough that we'd fielded a player that was registered with another club, and that's how the powers that be found out. But in the end, to be perfectly honest with you, we were quite pleased with that, because if he had carried on playing for us and it had gone unrecognised for a long time, we would have had a more severe points deduction, which wouldn't have made any difference to us because we still got relegated
anyway.
But the fact that there's always somebody out there that wants to spoil the party.
Quite so, yeah.
Anyway, listen, that's been an interesting first part of the show.
Yeah.
In the second part of the show, we'll be interviewing Colin Windrow, as you mentioned at the top of the show, the manager of newly promoted Msb Woolton. In the meantime, we're going to a commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon. Special shout out to all the businesses that support Skelmersdale United Football Club, Origin Sign Company, T&W Garners, 7PDS, Skem Express Cars 5005, Lease Car UK, RNB Auto Centre, SB Skills Solutions and Hey Presto Web Design. Thank you to everyone who donates to the club, supports our race nights, raffles and the lottery bonus ball scheme. And, of course, the last man standing. A special thanks to those who organise these fundraising events, especially the incredible Lee Davis and Lucas Berquist. To all who stand by us both on and off the field, we are truly grateful. If you wish to sponsor the show, please contact me at chairman.skemutdfc@gmail.com or call me on 07766 054 548. All proceeds will go to Skelmersdale United Football Club. Thank you for your unwavering support. Hello and welcome back to the second part of the Speaking Frankly football show, and it's an absolute pleasure to introduce Colin Windrow to the show. Colin is the manager of Msb Woolton. After winning the Liverpool County Premier League last season, they've been promoted to the North West Counties Division 1 South. A warm welcome to you, Colin.
Good evening. How are you doing, Frank? I'm okay. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're
thanks
more
for
welcome.
taking the time.
Yeah.
No, not at all, mate. Not at all.
Listen, before we get to the nitty gritty, like I've said to you before we came on, it's very, very difficult to get much information off the internet, particularly about non-league football clubs. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you became involved in grassroots football, please.
I suppose, like every other dad, and mum, to be fair, if their child has an interest in football, you get involved. So probably my son, Curtis, who's nearly 30 now, so I've probably been involved in grassroots football about 30 years. First of all, in the north of Liverpool, where I actually grew up, just off Netherfield Road there, and then up in South Liverpool, where obviously Msb Woolton come. So again, I run me lads' football team. That was Woolton Warrior Whites back in the day, and then and then all of a sudden I got the bug. I was working nights, working days, trying to swap shifts to try and get to my lads' football match and training sessions and stuff like that. To really put it to date now, where I was very fortunate enough, to be offered a full-time job with Msb Woolton to date now, which is it was my lifelong dream to be part of football. And one of my old colleagues who still work for me, a guy called Chris Leahy, he went, "Be careful what you wish for, Colin, because you'll get it." Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden you've got parents, children, coaches, everyone 24/7, 7 days a week, asking questions and everything, which don't get me wrong, it's a love of mine, but sometimes it gets a bit daunting because the wife wants to go out on having a meal or having a drink, and all the phone goes all the time, so it is hard, but it's great.
Listen, we've got used to interviewing much younger managers than yourself. How old are you, Colin, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 55 years of age now.
55 years of age. Brilliant. Listen, I guess because of that, you pretty much grew up with the football club as well.
Yeah, 100%. As I say, it's a bit of background about Woolton Football Club first. I believe the old boys Woolton started in just the turn of the century, the 1900s. We've done a little bit of research. Back in the 1930s, we were a non-league club, I believe, Old Boys Woolton.
All right.
And then to date now, as I say, I've been with them. I've been Woolton for about 27, 28 years, and it's a passion of mine. It's a passion of the 446 volunteers we've got now, which is unbelievable. I'm just so privileged that I'm full time. We just could not do it without the grassroots volunteers, and it's a next step on our journey. Hopefully to play Everton or Liverpool in the FA Cup third round.
Don't spoil one of our future questions. We'll come to that in a minute.
Sorry.
So, having done a bit of research, the club's been described as the biggest grassroots club in the UK and possibly Europe. You're well in excess of 100 teams. This looks like a club that's quite clearly set itself up extremely well, both on and off the pitch.
Yeah, to be fair, as I say, it's as I said before, it's down to our volunteers, down to our chairman really. So our chairman, David Woods, he's the stalwart behind it. He's the silent assassin. He was part of the county FA as well. He helps out with the Liverpool County Premier League, which is obviously where we're from, which I help out with as well. But then the people on the ground, the people in the committee, our committees, the subcommittees, who basically do stuff for the community, for both the boys, the girls. We're trying to get the disability off the ground. We've got walking football, and we've always dipped our toe into the adults, but under the leadership now of our adult section, which obviously is Mike Harvey, which is our first team manager, Andy Scragg, reserve team, which is Phil Wasley, third team, which is Kev Sheehan. It goes on and on and on. I could probably talk about 2.5 hours over the volunteers that have helped Woolton be where we are to date. And as I say, I'm just very privileged and very proud that I'm probably, I suppose, a figurehead of it, but there's no way near I'm the best person around. It's all the children, it's all the volunteers that help out on it every day during the week. As I always say, we probably do more hours in the volunteer work than they do in the real work, really.
Yeah. So listen, you alluded to it before. You've gone on record as saying, how do we get Msb Woolton playing Liverpool or Everton in the third round of the FA Cup? Did you get that inspiration from Marine when they played Spurs a few years back? Definitely,
it certainly did. I just had something put a fire inside my belly, to be fair, and I thought, this could be us. Imagine me being 106 on the telly, with obviously it's not Gary Lineker anymore, is it?
No.
But it's someone, but wouldn't it be great kudos for, as I say, little Msb Woolton to play such a prestigious, I say, in a prestigious cup, but to play anyone like that, even the likes of Crew, even the likes of anyone, to be fair, it's just it'll put us on our map, not on anyone else's map, to be fair.
Yeah, and you've obviously set yourself up for the dream now, because you've actually joined the pyramid. You're going to have to wait another year before you can join the FA Cup, but you'll certainly be competing in the FA Vars at the beginning of this season as well.
Well, again, it's been a long journey trying to get us in the Northwest Counties, but big shout out to the Liverpool City Council, big shout out to the Northwest Counties guys, the Football Foundation, to all the people that have gone on the record, kept going and going and going. We've been knocked back a few times, and rightly so, to be fair. We all thought we were ready, but the people that are in the know, which is the Northwest Counties, the Football Foundation, the FA, at the time we thought we're ready, but we're just new to this, so I'm glad for the opportunity, and hopefully we'll grasp it with both hands.
Yeah. So you mentioned the facilities and obviously the help that you've had. So you're at the Simpsons Hub right now. So you're geared up to elevate yourself further up the pyramid. I know you've received, like you say, a lot of support from the county FA, but have you got the backing off the council for future growth as well?
Yeah, so as I say, we've got. I've got to give a big shout out to Jim Stanley as well from South Liverpool. Our first team have been playing at Jericho Lane this year, which is a step six ground, just to guarantee us to get into the North West counties. We are undertaking. We just got planning permission now from Leicester United and all the guys there at Simpsons to go ahead and build stands and build a proper step six, hopefully go into step five ground. So again, it's a great model, it's a great base. So I'd say a big thank you to Leicester United and a big thank you to Jim Stanley from South Liverpool to put us on that step, because again we're not rivals, but we are rivals, you know what I mean? We try and help each other out in the background, but on the pitch obviously our guys want to win, but it's with help from all the community clubs and stuff like that, the Mossley Hills, the Marshalls, the Skemmers, the Hills and stuff like that. It's really, it goes to show when we all us Liverpool lads from the city, we all club together when needed.
Yeah. So where will you actually start the season? Will you start the season back at Jericho Lane or at Simpsons Hub?
No, we've got to start at Jericho Lane because we haven't undergone the actual grounds change yet at Simpsons, but we're hopefully turning around. Hopefully by Christmas we will get the ground done and get our lads back over at Simpsons on our home ground, shall we say?
Yeah, sure. So listen, let's go back to the beginning of last season. I assume you had one eye on promotion before you started competing, but how tough a season was it?
Oh, it was. So because we this probably goes just pre-COVID. So we won the league pre-COVID 2020, I think. I might be wrong here, Frank, but again, we weren't ready. We weren't ready then. And so then the next year we come 4th or 5th in our Liverpool County Premier League, and then it was we had a great running battle with Harewood Apollo, them guys and stuff like that. They won the league, and then we sorted toys and stuff like that. We thought we were going to get in the league, so we started making inroads over trying to change Simpson grounds. Again, we rightly so we got refused because we just weren't ready. As I say, so it has been a long road. This year, we've rallied the lads around and said, "Listen, guys, you know what I mean. We are going to push it as a committee." I think we've got even the lads, the first team lads, have got a song about us. Woolton's got no money, but we still won the league. Obviously the committee guys, that likes of me, Dave Woods and Keith Glover, we joke about that, but we've been in the background working tirelessly to try and get our first team to get where we are. And this year they've been exemplary. They've done it on the pitch. Well, we've done it off the pitch. So we've won the Zingari Cup, and obviously we won the league as well.
What kind of squad have you got there? Is it a mixture of youth and experience? And like you say, no money in the money in the coffers to pay for players to take it. There's absolutely no budget whatsoever.
No, at the start there wasn't and there isn't for the lads, as I say. But hopefully in the future that'll come. But the underpinning of our first team, which is a mixture of a few old wise heads, as well as a couple of, I think we've got an 18-year-old Lucas who's playing for us. He might be 19 now if he hears this. But the underpinning of our reserve side, Phil Wasley's side, who supplements our first team every time, and they've stepped in a couple of times with a couple of their lads who just haven't let us down. But that's underpinned by our under 23s, our third side, and our hopefully this year our under 21s. So the pathway's there, and which we've never really had before at Woolton. But the pathway is from our 4-year-olds right the way up, and not forgetting our veterans. Our veterans are still there under Tony Pryor, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of the lack of budget thereof, do you find it a challenge keeping hold of players who are tempted by the notion of money, either at current level or at higher level than yourselves?
Yeah, but we give them a promise. We said give us 12 months to get this right. So in the county prem when it was step 7, we said, listen guys, just stick with us. And to be fair, they all have been absolutely stalwart. We're part of the buy into a community. Now, who says in 12 months' time that when we do go into Northwest counties, there might be a budget there to at the end give the guys a bonus, but we're not wet behind the ears. We know we have got really, really good, strong adult 13 players who will have an eye on, or the other clubs will have an eye on them because we're new, and everyone will be looking at us and going, right, oh, he's good, and stuff like that. So we're not naive, but we want to give the lads who's helped has helped us out in the community a good season, and then we will try and make as much funding externally, internally as we can to hopefully try and keep these and try and push up the pyramid.
Yeah, listen, we're going to pick your brains a little bit here now as well, because we're obviously going in the opposite direction. We're joining the Liverpool County Premier League for the first time ever, I think. But what I did notice on social media the other week was someone had actually said, if you'd rather sit down on a bench in the non-league pyramid because you think step 7 isn't worth playing in, then you need to give your head a good wobble. As a team that is replacing us in the Northwest Counties, knows an awful lot about the Liverpool County Premier. Can you explain to us how difficult it is going to be for us?
It is extremely difficult. It's like, I can put it to like try and get out the Championship and get into the Premier League.
Yeah.
It's 100 miles an hour. There's some fantastic teams. As I mentioned before, Halewood's Apollo there. As I say, the Grenadier has been going along for years. So Tsffs, the new teams that come up, the Joey Orrs and the King Harry, all fantastic teams. As I say, we played the final for the Zingari Cup. All young lads. The King Harry, they were absolutely fantastic, and they outplayed us, to be fair. And we got not a lucky penalty, but the guy handled the ball. But hands on heart, we played good football, but they were really, really good. And they come up from Division 1 the year before and give our reserve side a really good run for the money. And they've held their own in the Liverpool County Prem. It's a great league, as I say. There's a few leagues rounds, as I say, but the Liverpool County Prem, under the guidance of, as I say, Dave Woods, Gary Berwick, and a whole host of the youth committee and the adult committee. It strives to be one of the best around in the northwest of England, to be fair.
So this wording that's often used about a dog and duck league is very far from the truth. I think we've realised that for a long time when we've been doing our research. In terms of the physicality, can you play a youthful squad with flair, or do you need a lot of experience to gain an advantage in the Liverpool County Prem?
Well, no. To be fair, as I said before about the King Harry, they're a very youth side with one or two wise heads. To be fair, but they just going off them from the final, they do the young lads, 23, 24, played really good football. There was no, don't get me wrong, there's a couple of times as normal footballs, a couple of clashes and stuff like that, but everything's dealt with the referee. As I say, to our first team, I don't mind you getting red cards for tackles and stuff like that, but the misconduct, we won't have it. We don't like it, you know what I mean? We've got a good reputation, Woolton, part of the Liverpool County Prem, very privileged to be part of the Liverpool County Prem. We always have been. But going forward, this is it a step where we'll obviously, Frank, I need a bit of advice from you. Us going up to that level, is that going to be really difficult for us? Is it going to be out of our remit? Again, only time will tell.
Well, listen, we've never seen you play, but obviously you've done well enough to secure a promotion. So you get to where you're going with due credit, don't you? So listen, we can't tell you an awful lot about the what to expect in the North West Counties, other than the fact that when we were relegated from the Premier Division of the North West Counties, we didn't expect Division 1 North to be as difficult as it was. I mean, there is an argument to say that Division 1 South is slightly easier. I don't know. We played teams from Division 1 South, and I'd say that they're probably on a par, to be perfectly honest with you. But there's no league that is easy. I mean, when we were looking at our options, whether we were going to be West Cheshire, West Lancashire, or the Cheshire League, we couldn't really call which would be the so-called easiest league to be in. The reputation of the Liverpool County Premier League is probably it's down to physicality, and it's a very strong physical division to be in. Is that a fair assessment, or?
Yeah, Frank, I'd probably say it is. But then there's still room for flair. There's still room for the footballer. I would say, to be honest, our lads could say there's a couple of lads that can put a tackle in, shall we say, as the old saying goes. But I think the footballing wise, that's what's won as the league. Playing football, being fit. And as I say, there's a lot of fit guys who are not just the old adage, right? Let's go to the pub on a Friday, let's get smashed, and let's play footy on a Saturday, and let's go to the pub again on a Saturday afternoon after the match. Now, don't get me wrong, after the match you have a couple of lemonades, shall we say? But our guys train 2 hours on midweek. They do extra physical training, actually through Phil Wasley and stuff. So it's the fitness I found that really what's named. I think the footballing was very close. So some games were where really what's named. But if you look at the league, you look at the results last year, they were very close. There were 2-1s, 3-1s and stuff like that. And basically it would come down to fitness, because I reckon 90% of the first division is good footballers, really good footballers, to a point where the likes of the year before last, Adam Morgan used to play for Haylands Apollo, ex-Liverpool player, good friend of ours. I've always said, listen, please come play for Woolton. He never will, because he's got his Haylands head on. But again, it was a good rivalry, which off the pitch, great fella. On the pitch, his will to win. But call yourself a great footballer, that's him. He was a great footballer, and that's to have him as part of in the Liverpool County Prem is kudos for us.
Absolutely, it is. You've been asked what's been your greatest team, and you said the ones that come up to you in the pub, the guys who you've coached that have gone on to be engineers, solicitors, or bus drivers. It's not normally the answer one would expect, but it probably resonates better than any answer could.
So 100%, we're predominantly grassroots. As I say, I've been doing this just near on 30 years, and every single child that comes through Woolton, boy, girl, doesn't matter. As I say, I can do the extreme. Izzy Hobson was part of us, youngest ever women's scorer for Everton. I took her into Everton when she was 4 years of age. To the lad or the girl who has now got life skills out of playing for Msb Woolton, and that's me biggest. I love it. As I said before, if someone's on the pathway, I'm at university and I've done this and I'm out with my wife or my friends or whatever, and I see someone in the pub, and as I say, how you doing, Colin? You're okay, and all that. It just gives me such a sense of, achievement, shall we say. All them have gone the pathway. They've grown up with mates. They've grown up with the peers. They've learned how to win. They've learned how to lose. But they've learned a life skill that they could not get out of playing football. And obviously, the northwest of England is probably the hotbed of football. I always say it. If you're part of us, going to school, going from year 6 to year 7 to big school, And they all go, oh, right, he plays for somewhere, he plays for Marshalls, he plays for Mossley, he plays for Woolton. Yeah, do you want to come with us? And it gives you a great achievement to be part of a team. And that's what we aim, and we still do. We class ourselves as a youth grassroots team. We're dipping our toe into adults now. And we're either going to sink or we're going to swim. As I say, hopefully we swim, but again, only time will tell.
Yeah, no, it really will. But on the face of it, then you're teaching them an awful lot more than just how to play football on the pitch. You're actually developing, young boys, young girls into young adults. Is that how you kind of apply that philosophy then on the pitch as well? Like if your team are losing or winning, do you try and see every single game as a lesson?
Yeah, it's a positive. As I say, the guys that run, the main first team, which is Mike Harvey, Andy Scragg, Adam Scragg, and stuff like that. There's a positiveness of, listen, you always learn. You learn how to lose. You learn how to win. How do we accomplish being part of Woolton Football Club? We've got to underpin on education for I think we've got 440 volunteers. It's my job. It's all right having paid employees, but having non-paid employees, you've got to be there. As I say, my phone is 24/7, which our chairman Dave Woods and Keith Glover, our accounts, goes absolutely mad. But I feel that if it's on the most important thing, if someone's a football, they haven't got a football, I'll get them a football. That's most important. Or they haven't got a top or a kit. So it's everything. It's a network. We couldn't do this without the likes of with our retail Vasey, which is a Nike partner club. We couldn't do that. We couldn't do without Leisure United. We couldn't do without the Liverpool City Council. So everything that we do, we don't take anyone for granted. And that's what we try and put on the pitch. Don't get me wrong, we want to win, but if we don't win, we try and lose with dignity, I suppose, and not try and do like these shout at referees and stuff like that. I'll probably say this now and then. Someone will go up and shout at a referee or something.
Yeah, don't jump already. Honestly, hearing your words and hearing who you're thanking is really interesting, because you're thanking footballing foundations and leisure facilities and people who are providing kind of funding personnel rather than sponsorship agreements and basically what a business side of it. I know you guys are deep rooted in grassroots football and like an academic structure to it. But is there an aspect of the club that does deal in bringing money into the club on a revenue basis?
Well, we do. To be fair, as I say, about 9 years ago, I say, we changed from Woolton to Msb Woolton.
The solicitors company, yeah.
Is the solicitors company, so that's where we sort of changed tact. And to be fair, with MSB, which is Sean Sexton, it was Paul Bibby. I'm really sorry about I can't remember the other one. They started this. They started the hub of this, and they were passionate about football. They were passionate about community, and they invested a bit of money into us, which was unbelievable at the time, because we were just a normal grassroots club, and it basically revolutionised our club really from being a club with 30 or 40 teams to date now, which is 238.
Crikey. The last record I see was around about 141, so that's increased.
Yeah.
Crikey.
Yes, 238. But again, wow. But the continued support of Emma Carey from MSB Solicitors, what they do behind the scenes. I say we don't listen. We need money. We need money to carry on and grow and stuff like that. But if we don't, we could not do this without the grass that we play on, which is Liverpool City Council, the 3G that we play on, which is Leisure United, and the vast of volunteers who are MSB Woolton. It's not to do with me being full time or what we do in the outer community with the main FA and stuff like that. It's our guys. It's our guys on the ground, which I'm very humbled and very privileged to thank them and call most of them friends, to be fair.
So listen, when it comes to increasing your sponsorship deal with MSB, I would imagine that you sort of got good stock value now that you've made the transition into the non-league pyramid.
Yeah, good conversations with Emma. Emma's the managing director there. Me and both Dave Woods has had a good conversation with them, and again, it's being from our main sponsor Msb Woolton to our kit sponsor, which is the Cobden, which all are in Woolton Village, where all the guys go back. The likes of Jackie, who's the proprietor there at the Cobden. She helps our first team out with, as I say, kits and sandwiches after the match and stuff like that. It's a great central hub. But the more sponsors we get, the more. I don't like them calling sponsorships. I love a partnership. So that's what we are. We want a partnership. I always ask every time someone comes to me or we go to them. I always ask first and foremost, what can we do for them? Yeah. We're not. If someone wants to give us 50 pence, fantastic. If someone was to give us £5 million, fantastic. They'd be treated the same. And as I say, it's there's endless people that help us out. Damien at Eurogold has helped us out endlessly under the radar. Absolutely amazing. And it's endless stuff. As I say, I couldn't. From when we actually had our hut burned down. I don't know whether you've seen that on the.
I've seen the video. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, over the course of I think it was 2 weeks, the community raised nearly £30,000 just to get our container.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable from I'll say it, LFC Foundation to Everton Football Club, which I'm heavily involved with, to the humblest gran saying, listen, I've got £180 in my pension, do you want that?
Could you send a few our way, please?
Certainly will if I can.
Listen, was there any opposition to the name change at all?
At the time, no. I just thought that we thought this was the best path. Now, as I say, we've always been, as I say, since we've got 1994 on our emblem on our badge. That's when we've probably turned a little corner for Woolton. I think it started with the Oranges was Steve Thorogood with Dave Woods, and then it come on. So, but again, the actual saying no MSB, we thought it was the right time to take a chance. To be fair, it's worked out well for us. To be fair, as I say, and Emma won't like me saying this, but obviously I think we won £5 million off, and nobody's on. By the way, I'm only messing.
Yeah, but you'd take it if she give it.
Oh, certainly would. But no, but the increase of I don't know, community. Again, I keep saying this word, community. It helps more than money, should we say?
Well, you've got to have an honest approach to it. There's no doubt about that, because if you're expecting people to part with money, you've got to give something back to it. Otherwise, they'll never come back again.
Of course, massively. And as I say, we've been hopefully deep rooted in the Woolton, South Liverpool area. That we've got people coming to us. The more partnerships we've got coming to us, it'll only increase us as a club, us in the community, and as I say, it'll enhance our younger children coming up to realise, oh my God, I could play non-league football and possibly get paid for it. So it's a great incentive.
It certainly is. Listen, moving slightly forward to next season, what do you actually know about the North West Counties Football League?
Oh, little to be fair. As I say, I've had a few conversations with the guys at the North West Counties who've been invaluable with knowledge of what they know about football. But we're not daft. We are going there with our eyes wide open. We're not here to go, we're going to beat everyone, or we're going to get battered 15-16-0. We might do. We just don't know. But we hope that Woolton will be on the non-league path. Will be on the map of people who, as you said before, right, you started your show, didn't really know about Msb Woolton, what the background of it was. And that's our message. If we can play good football, as well as get our message across of what we do with the community and what we do outside of the community, as well as being part of, I suppose, the flagship FA club, because we've got so many teams. We try and do things right. we don't always get it. We don't always get it right, as a lot of people will say. But if we don't get it right, we'll try and get it right again. But there's certain partners that, as I say, we've Jim Stanway has given us a depth of knowledge about the Northwest Counties and what to expect. And we've got to follow South Liverpool's and Lower Breck's and AFC Liverpool's path. You know, if we're gonna compete with the likes of them. So we are looking forward to it. We are nervous, of course. Because of the actual expenditure of what it's going to cost, but we're going to take a chance.
You're going to have to. I mean, you've been placed in the Division 1 South, which geographically speaking makes it a little bit more of a logistical headache to get to all these places. I mean, you're going to have to travel down to the steep Staffordshire area for some of your games. Have yourself and the kind of the honchos at the top of the chain prepared for this kind of financially and logistically?
Yeah, so we're having now, since we got accepted, we've had meeting after meeting, to be fair, with as I say, the likes of Keith Glover, who's our accounts treasurer, who's the backbone of it, I suppose, of what's named with Dave Woods, with our first team squad, obviously coaches and stuff like that. We're putting a plan in position where is it going to be minibuses? We're going to give the lads, they're going to take the cars. Is it going to be expenditure for the travel and stuff like that? So what we would say, they're not going to be out of pocket, and hopefully at the end of the season we will have a pot to hopefully give the lads the richly deserved rewards, because it's exciting. It's exciting going down to Stafford and stuff like that. And going wherever going the away grounds. But we want to be seen every time they come to our place. We want to give them the feel. This is Msb Woolton, and you're playing us, and we want to give them a good game on the pitch, but give them a good game off the pitch as well.
Yeah.
If we can.
Were you a bit shocked by the fact that you were put in the Southern Division?
Frank, I think we were just happy to get in the league, because, as I say, for the last 3 or 4 years we were vying in, and we're not ones to see, like, historically we could have been really upset that we never got in 2 years ago, and certain criteria's going into the Midlands, I believe, and going there, and a lot of people could have took to social media. We're not that type of club. We try and keep us in-house. Don't get me wrong, we are aggrieved sometimes with certain decisions that we make, but we keep it in-house, and we try and vent our words on the pitch rather than at social media, because again, social media is a fantastic platform sometimes for, say, sponsorship, partnership, whatever, but then it's got its toxic side as well, which we try and steer clear of the negative side, because basically it only comes back to bite you. We found that historically that it does. So hopefully going forwards, I think we are really looking forward to it, and we're really looking forward to hosting these teams that we have looked up to, should we say?
Oh, listen, there's no doubt about it. It's a great journey that you're about to embark on. Listen, assuming you've got the same squad going into next season, it's a pretty well-established squad. How confident that you can compete with that squad, or are there any plans to bring any additions in?
Well, yeah, there's always additions. We're on the lookout for, obviously, talent players, but we are going to, speaking to Andy and Mike, the lads that have got us through, and speaking to Jim Stanway as well at South Liverpool, and telling us that the expectations, we know that we could compete. Now, we're always on the lookout for new players all the time, but the players got to be the right ethos for us as well, both on and off the pitch. We've got a great family. That's probably a word that is bound around with the first team and the reserve team and all the adult section. We're a family, and don't get me wrong, sometimes in families we always fall out, but then we're always family. We're always around here to put our arm around everyone's shoulder. So to answer your question, yeah, we're going to stick with the guys. Whoever finished the season with it, but then hopefully the pathway we've got, as I say, with so many teams, the under-16s, under-17s have some really outstanding players. Are they in the position to step up to the reserves and the first team to compete in the North West counties? Who knows? Only training and probably friendly matches will tell us that.
It's not always easy to establish a progression, even with such a huge sort of the size of the club. That becomes a sort of political stick that parents and the younger players that will probably beat you with in the end. How easy would you say, or how difficult is it to progress from from those levels into the first team? I mean, it's up the level a bit now, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's really hard. As I say, it's the expertise of obviously before Andy Scragg and Mike Harvey and Phil Wasley and stuff like that from the reserve side. We are no illusions that it's like, for example, our under-23s coach, which is Kev Sheehan, who's our welfare officer as well, who's been, I think Kev's the same age as me, but he's been around for 165 years, I think, Kev. But he's done the youth side, he's dipped his toe now into the adult side, and he finds it really difficult to get the lads to step up. It's you know yourself, for under 14s, under 15s, who are really good sides, all of a sudden to have that step up to adults from 16s to 17s to 18s, it's so hard, but we're trying to bridge the gap to hopefully find that one or two golden tickets or something, whatever you want to call it, to progress onto the first team, the reserves and the first team. Now, maybe we might have to go hunting for new talent. Who knows? If we can get it inside the Woolton, all well and be, all good, but we're under no illusion that we might have to look further afield.
So, listen, looking towards next season, what are you looking forward to most, other than the travelling?
Travelling, meeting new people, having relationships with, listen to the chairmans and the guys that have been around each club and see how they do it and probably the magpie off them. To be fair, we'd love to learn how they do it. But like say you, Frank, how you do it and stuff like that, how you've done it in the past. Because say Skinwellsdale is a stalwart of non-league football, and hopefully next year we'll be competing against you. So learning off people, that's my biggest thing for this season.
Well, listen, Tommy Lawson will be ringing you because he's already asked for your number. So I'm pretty sure that you can both give insight to both divisions.
Definitely, yeah, 100%. As I say, the more phone numbers I've got on me dial, the better it is for everyone. As I say, because the teams to avoid, and the team. I want to play them again. I want to play some really good sides, really, really good off the field, good on the field. So, as I say, that's what we want to set up our network in the non-league section now, because we are the new boys, should we say?
You are the new kids on the block, and I suppose now that you're on the block, how far do you think Msb Woolton can go?
Oh, God. How can I answer that?
It's the biggest question of them all, isn't it, Colin?
How can we answer that? There's so many teams that have gone right up the pyramid. For example, Bury. Wow, you look at Bury, they've gone right up the top, they've gone right down the bottom. They started again and they started on the pathway again. To become a Bury or something like that, AFC Bury now. God, it's a dream. But we know it's a dream where everyone has got to get on board. The Liverpool City Council, the whole community, the Leisure United, if once we're playing on their pitches, the Football Foundation, the FA, everybody has to get on board, and it's sliding doors. If we miss out on that one, maybe go this one and this one, you just don't know. You don't know. But say with the help of the North West Counties, the help of everyone. Hopefully, we'll start our journey. We know it's going to be tough. We're under no illusion, but hopefully we'll give a good account of ourselves both on and off the pitch. That's all I will say.
Sure.
Listen, Colin, the club has definitely designed its own blueprint for success, and it's an example for us all to follow. We wish you all the best of luck next season. We'll certainly be keeping an eye on your progress and wishing you all the best. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Cheers. Thanks for giving up your time and your evening. Thanks again, guys. Hopefully see you soon.
Not a worry, Colin. All the best, mate. Bye-bye.
Bye now. Special shout out to all the businesses that support Skelmersdale United Football Club, Origin Sign Company, T&W Garners, 7PDS, Skem Express Cars 5005, Lease Car UK, RNB Auto Centre, SB Skills Solutions and Hey Presto Web Design. Thank you to everyone who donates to the club, supports our race nights, raffles and the lottery bonus ball scheme, and of course the last man standing. A special thanks to those who organise these fundraising events, especially the incredible Lee Davis and Lucas Berquist. To all who stand by us both on and off the field, we are truly grateful. If you wish to sponsor the show, please contact me at chairman.skemutdfc@gmail.com or call me on 07766 054 548. All proceeds will go to Skelmersdale United Football Club. Thank you for your unwavering support. Hello and welcome to the third and final part of the Speaking Frankly football show. What a fabulous interview with Colin.
Oh man, Colin's great. I love his ethos. It is not, we must be a sustainable club based on, financial frugality. We are a place of education from, children's all the way up to adults and veterans. There's always a lesson behind every single football club and football match. And if anybody comes to this club, we give them lessons in life, not just in sport. And I think that's a wonderful basis on which to place a football club. So absolute massive props to Colin and all the team at Msb Woolton, and we do genuinely wish you all the very best ahead of your first season in the North West Counties.
Yeah, most definitely. It's a refreshing way to look at it, because often we're accused of being very sort of insular football clubs, and that a lot of people that don't like football are not really interested in football. But I think if you listen to the story of Msb Woolton and how they've progressed over the years, and particularly what Colin said about his greatest team being the people that he bumps into, that he's coached before over the last few years, it's quite refreshing to know that these have turned out into level-headed human beings that have made a life for themselves somewhere else. And it's not all about whether you progress from grassroots football and end up becoming a professional footballer. It's giving you a way of life. It's teaching you the values and principles of life, and I think it's a very refreshing way to look at it.
Very honourable, yeah, most definitely. He is a teacher in himself, isn't he, Colin? He'll maybe not admit it, but he is.
Yeah, fantastic. But listen,
well played.
Like you just said there before, wish them all the very best, and we'll 100%. Definitely be keeping an eye on them.
100% we will do. So, now that we're in part 3 of the show, we are going to move all things on to Skelmersdale United, obviously the team that is most closely linked and associated with this humble little podcast show about non-league football. Now, we've known about our allocation to the Liverpool County Premier League for a couple of weeks. The news was embargoed until Tuesday when we made it public. We discussed the rights and wrongs of our relegation, but it's all done and dusted, and we are going to embrace the future and try our best to improve the situation that we're in going forward. Now, well, listen, that's a statement in itself, and we've managed to speak to Colin, who's got experience of the Liverpool County Premier League, and for anybody that's thinking we're going to the Dog and Duck League, then he can prove that we're certainly not. The one question I didn't ask him, which I wish it had done, was they started off with 14 teams
and ended up with 12 at the end of the season. So whether those two teams actually started playing, or all those records were expunged before the season end, I don't know. But yeah, we've got to, like you say, we've got to embrace the future moving forward in the Liverpool County Football League, Premier League. It used to be called the Liverpool County Combination at one time. But yeah, it's and listen, I think I said it to Colin before about people that think it's easy to or it's less attractive to play football at step 7. They do really need to give the head a good wobble. The snobbery is unbelievable. The standard of football at that level is really, really good. And I'd say to anybody that's listen, some of our players that are expecting to leave or move on next season. If you're going to bench warm, that's fine. If you go on and progress and you do well for yourself, then we fully endorse you moving from the football club. That's not what we're about. We want to see you being successful, but at the same time, don't be a fool and waste your valuable time and your career being a bench warmer.
No, absolutely.
And I've changed that but yeah. That's the polite version.
We've amended it to be a little bit kinder, but no, it is right. I mean, we talked about this with Gary Moore, a manager of Lower Breck, who were, once upon a time a Step 7 team themselves, and they attracted players who were of absolute enormous quality in Step 7. So there's quite clearly a lot of quality and capacity in the Liverpool County League at Step 7. So we're not expecting it to be a walkover every week where you've got sort of blokes in their 30s and 40s with beer guts who've been out on the town the night before rocking up to play. This is competitive football. It is. So we would still urge you to make a go of it in the Liverpool County Premier League with Scam.
And this dog and duck attitude would give the impression that it's a glorified Sunday league. It's not. It's quite disrespectful in my humble opinion. So it's going to be an absolutely tough league to play, and no doubt about it. The reality that the kids in this division will get kicked right off the park, possibly true, but it could also be said that it'll turn boys into men. But that's up to Tommy now to put a squad together that can compete in the Liverpool County. And we're going into the dark here. We haven't got a clue what to expect. Similar to what we felt when we get relegated from the Premier Division into Division 1 North. Listen, we know relegation isn't good for the club, but it's happened now, and the fight continues. You've mentioned it, AJ. You mentioned Lower Breck. You've mentioned Msb Woolton. There is a future after the Liverpool County Football League, and that's what we've got to look towards.
Most certainly. And there's every reason to kind of be optimistic going into this league. I know last season was, I know that it was disappointing on a lot of fronts. On the pitch, we were kind of dogged by, frustration, difficulties, poor performances, bad luck. I mean, there was a whole mixture of everything in there, and we came out of the season having taken points in just 4 games. I'm really confident that under Tommy, the squad is going to be much more competitive in this league. It will allow for a bit of a reset of all things Skelmersdale United. We won't have to travel as far, so the costs will be down. There is less teams in the division as well, which again means costings will come down, and we only need to finish in 5th place to be eligible for promotion back into the Northwest Counties. Now, although this is something that we have a little bit of contention with based on the ruling, it is something that we are able to use to our advantage if we get into that position by the end of the season. I think what's going to be more difficult about it is that there's far less room for error in the Liverpool counties because of the fewer teams that are going to be playing in that one. So we really need to hit the ground running, and I've absolutely no doubt that Tommy and Andy are formulating plans on how to do that already. So there's a lot of reasons to be positive about going into this league, even though there is a bit of trepidation because we've never been there before.
Yeah, spot on, but it's quite refreshing to know, isn't it, that Msb Woolton have managed to gain promotion without a budget.
Yeah, I think it is. I think they may have a little bit more difficulty going into this season. I think you need to have a bit more of a budget about yourself.
I think he understands that, doesn't he? That's probably the next stage.
It is the next stage, yeah, and I've no doubt that they will have people in place to provide sponsorship and funding to be able to kind of make a good go of it in the northwest counties. But again, like you say, it's reassuring that us, and our budgetary issues have been a focal point of our discussions throughout all of last season. And we would hope that it stands us in a bit of good stead, having the experience in higher leagues and higher levels, that we can make a really good go of it and achieve way more success this season than we did last season.
Yeah, listen, not that we're taking it for granted or it's going to be easy, because off the field, because we're going to talk about the GoFundMe fund, we're going to talk about sponsorship and fundraising ideas. Off the field, it's going to be a tough season once again. Yeah. Our main worries, as always, are finance. We need to replace our front of shirt sponsor and other sponsors. At this point, I'd like to thank Dan Kenyon from Origin Sign Company and Bill Cooper from 7PDS. Their support last season helped keep us afloat, so we're truly indebted to them.
Yeah.
But now we need to find suitable replacements, and I have to say it's not been easy so far. We need your help, plain and simple.
Yeah, we really do. Origin Sign Company were our front of shirt sponsor, our primary investor from a sponsorship point of view as well. 7PDS Accountancy were our sleeve sponsor from last season as well, both of whom will not be available to us this season coming, and that is leaving a substantial financial gap that we need to fill soon and quite urgently as a matter of priority. It means now that we need to source and order a new kit, because of course we won't have the sponsors available to us. So we're just reaching out to local businesses and local community hubs within the Crosby area where we're going to be based next season to see if anybody is interested in sponsoring us. If you are listening to this and you are aware of any business in the Crosby area, do please get in touch with us on the show and let us know who these businesses are and whether they would be interested, because we really do need all the help that we can get.
And Marine Football Club have kindly allowed us to put up advertising boards on their ground, which will stay there throughout the season. So that will cover all games, and I think there's a footfall in excess of 3,000 people going through their gates weekly. I think the Marine on their home games were reaching up to 1,800 supporters on their bigger gates, and averaging over, I think it was around about 1,200. So in terms of sponsorship, if anybody wants to take up the offer of a board sponsorship up at Marine's ground, then you're destined for a little bit of success there, in terms of the footfall is much bigger than what it would have been if we had still been at Bearscough. So that you take that into account when you're deciding whether you're going to sponsor the club, because we need it, because gate revenue alone won't sustain us. No. Unless people come out and support the club could end up moving further down the non-league pyramid. Not that we're working hard to make sure that doesn't happen. But like I'll say, and I've said it before, it's all very well and good people moaning about us playing far away from our hometown, but we had very little choice. The opportunity to continue the success we had a few years ago was halted when the JMO pitch failed the FIFA bounce test. Now, some people think that was the responsibility of the current chairman, which just happens to be me. But I can't be responsible because I wasn't there then. So put that one to bed. Those who have worked hard to continue the club's great legacy should be applauded, and those that have criticised the club should bow their heads in shame, in my humble opinion. If you can't say anything that might be helpful, then just say nothing at all. You're not relevant in the club's history. That doesn't mean to say you can't play a part in its future. But if the club does fold, we're trying our best to make sure it doesn't. It won't be because we didn't try to avoid it. It'll be down to the lack of support when the club needs it most. And I hate saying that because you end up getting into a sort of a volley of arguments in terms of who's right and who's wrong. We need support. We don't need criticism unless it's constructive. Now, I'll mention the GoFundMe contributions, which have almost stopped, and one can imagine this is down to one particular person who insinuated something untrue about me. He subsequently took the post down, but once it's said, it can't be unsaid, and some people unfortunately believe it. There was no apology from the person in question, but the same man boasts that he was supporter of the season 3 times in a row, but with supporters like him, who needs enemies. The bloke in question has never met me, but has gone on record as saying he doesn't care about the facts, he still doesn't believe me, which beggars belief.
Not really a fan, but to go back to the original, discussion point, we do have a live GoFundMe page open at the minute. As much as what the club and its supporters are pushing the agenda to try and get people to contribute, we do understand that funds are tight. There's cost of living crises all over the place that are making it really hard to spend money freely and at will, and we do understand that. But we do ask that you manifest support in other ways, either by coming down to see us, or buying a replica shirt, a replica pin badge, contributing towards our charity nights or our events that will be going on throughout the season. There's a whole host of things that you can do to help the club, but unfortunately it does all come down to money and finances. We really wish that we had something more honourable and more charitable to say as a solution to what contributes towards this great club staying afloat, but unfortunately it is money and it is finances, and we really do need your help now more than ever if this club is going to continue and stay alive. And bearing in mind it is an absolute pedestal of non-league folklore and history and success, and has been for 143 years, and we want that to continue so badly, but we can't do it without help. So please get onto our GoFundMe page, get in touch with the club directly in whatever manner that you think that you can help us, whether that's sponsorship or donation, anything like that. Please do let us know, and we will happily entertain your requests to provide help.
And for anybody that's listening that knows of any local businessmen
or women,
please pass businessmen, women, please pass the message on directly to them if they're not already listening themselves. And listen, I have to say, though, people that have been critical or most critical of the football club have also been invited to hospitality. They've been invited back down to the football club to see what it's all about now and to get involved, which moves us on to fundraising. We desperately need new volunteers to help with fundraising, and we need new ideas and fresh impetus throughout the club. We're a small band of volunteers who aren't ashamed to admit that we need help. So if anyone is interested in becoming involved with the club, and then the door is wide open. Who knows, a future chairperson might just come along as a result of that. You listen, the door is wide open.
Would you step aside, Frank, if somebody could move this club forward quicker than you currently are?
I think I've gone on record as saying that yes, right now I think I'm the right fit for the football club because I've got the time and the expertise to continue keeping this club afloat. But for how long I can do it, as we've alluded to before, somebody with deeper pockets than me, if they came along and they answered the right questions and went through our set of due diligence rules to run a football club, then yeah, I'd certainly entertain moving to one side and supporting those that might be interested. I mean, we've had, in recent weeks, we've had a fair few meetings with influential people because the main crux of the problem is that we're not playing in Skem, and we want to get back to Skem as quick as we possibly can. Those meetings have been quite fruitful. I've had 3 meetings this week, and I hope that at some stage, in the months to come, there'll be more sort of meat on the bone and a conversation that I can have about how it will affect the future of Skem United Football Club. But yet the simple fact of the matter is we need volunteers, and I think one of the things we've mentioned before is we would really like to get someone like a videographer that could sort of do a story of the football club and its intended journey back to the top and back into the non-league pyramid. So if anybody has those expertise, whether the training now they're at university and doing that, then please make yourself known to us. Somebody that's got the equipment, obviously, because we can't afford it.
Nope.
But it would be nice if somebody could get involved with the football club and register a good interest so that we can sort of relay this story over social media, because we know social media is probably more powerful and can create and generate more income and interest alongside support through the gate. Yeah. So yeah, we desperately need more volunteers. But yeah, back to your original question, would I move to one side? Yeah, I most certainly would, but I'd also give that person my full support as well, because I've got the time to do it and a little bit more knowledge about the history of the football club as well. So yeah, most definitely.
Okay.
So listen, we get to this final part of the show where we say, what have you learned this week?
I think for me, it's a really unusual one, because for us, money makes a huge difference. But for an institution like Msb Woolton, it seems that it sort of doesn't. They haven't gone about it in the usual way of, making sponsorships or fundraising. They've been the beneficiary of a lot of cash injections from very large football-based organisations that have seen the setup and the grassroots infrastructure that they've got, and decided that that's worth taking a punt on and investing in. And I think that there is more than one way to financially secure yourselves and create an adventure for yourself, all your own making. So yeah, that's what I've learned this week. What about yourself?
I've learned that I've gone through the stage of being quite poorly over the last few weeks and months, and I've decided that I'm going to take a break. So for the next 2 weeks, there's no show. I'm going on holiday to take a well-earned break. But I won't stop working. I'll be at the end of the phone. I'll be taking my laptop with me, and I'll continue with the good cause of keeping Skem United Football Club in business. So yeah, I've learned that sometimes you've got to take your foot off the gas and get a bit of me time. So that's what I'm going to do. Try and recuperate and get my health back to where it once was. That's what I've learned this week so far. And leaving the final words to the dulcet tones of AJ.
You've been listening to the Speaking Frankly Football Show with me, AJ Vergette, and my co-host, Mr. Frank Hughes. We are available on most streaming services, including Amazon Music and Spotify. Please remember to subscribe to the podcast so that you can be the first to find out when a new episode of the Speaking Frankly Football Show has been released. Please also feel free to rate and review the podcast, as we do thrive on hearing your feedback. We are also available on social media sites, mainly X and Facebook, under the banner Speaking Frankly Football Show. So from me, AJ, and Frank, we will see you soon with another episode of the Speaking Frankly Football Show. Until then, bye-bye for now.